Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Newsbrowse News broadcast. Global News reports that a Halifax police officer has been cleared of criminal wrongdoing following the shooting of a robbery suspect in January 2026. The Serious Incident Response Team, C.Rt, Nova Scotia's police watchdog, concluded its investigation, finding no reasonable grounds to believe the officer committed a criminal offense. The incident began on January 17th when Halifax Regional Police responded to reports of two robberies at NSLC locations, where the suspect used a chemical irritant. Officers located the male suspect, who, after being tased unsuccessfully, allegedly removed the taser prongs, stated, "Is that all you got?" and ran. He then pulled out a large butcher knife and, according to a civilian video, lunged at officers. Despite commands to get on the ground, the suspect continued towards the officer, who then fired 3 shots, hitting the man in the chest, abdomen, and arm. The suspect survived and underwent surgery. C.RT's director, Aaron E. Naus, determined that the officer faced a real and potentially deadly threat given the suspect's armed aggression and prior history of violence against police. The officer's actions were deemed reasonable. The suspect faces charges including robbery, assault of a peace officer, and possession of a dangerous weapon. CTV News reports that British Columbia's Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner has ruled that the City of Vancouver is required to keep the residential addresses of short-term rental operators private. The Commissioner's decision concluded that disclosing these addresses would expose operators to potential harassment, financial harm, and reputational damage, as it would reveal where they live their private lives. This decision is the latest development in a years-long freedom of information dispute initiated by housing advocate Rohana Rezel in 2019. Rezel sought the addresses to investigate whether short-term rentals were displacing long-term tenants. And while he believes many operators have wrongfully evicted tenants, the commissioner deemed fears of theft and vandalism too speculative for non-disclosure. Rezel, whose public activism has decreased since becoming a father, still advocates for government-backed housing solutions to the crisis, now shifting his focus to other issues like data centers in Vancouver. Global News reports that Canadians are increasingly opting for electric and hybrid vehicles as gas prices surge nationwide. In March, while overall new motor vehicle sales declined by 6.6% compared to March 2025, zero-emission vehicles, ZEVs, which include battery electric and plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, saw a significant increase. Canadians purchased 21,574 new ZEVs in March, marking a 74.7% rise from the same month last year. ZEVs accounted for 12.2% of all new vehicle sales last month, up from 6.6% in March 2025. Data from rates.ca shows a 40% increase in car insurance quote searches for EVs, and Clutch, a pre-owned car platform, reported a 54% jump in EV searches since the start of the Iran war. The average gas price in Canada reached 1.89 cents per liter on Thursday, near the year-long high of $1.90, fueling consumer interest in more efficient alternatives. CTV News reports that Ontario's recently enacted more restrictive freedom of information (FOI) laws have been used to deny a request for documents from Health Minister Sylvia Jones's office. The request sought information related to potential hospital cuts, which is particularly relevant as over 70% of Ontario hospitals are projecting deficits and were instructed to submit 3-year balanced budget plans. Despite the Ministry of Health granting a 90-day extension for the records until March 10th, the new law was passed in the interim and is retroactive to 1988, effectively nullifying the request on May 6. Premier Doug Ford publicly stated part of the law's rationale was to block a Global News request for his cell phone records, and it has also reportedly curtailed access to documents concerning the Greenbelt scandal. Opposition leaders, including NDP's Marit Stiles and interim Liberal leader John Fraser, heavily criticized the move, calling it anti-democratic and a concerning lack of transparency regarding crucial healthcare decisions amidst hospital job cuts. A spokesperson for Minister Jones maintained that budget changes will not impact patient care. A review by legislators has concluded that the 2024 British Columbia provincial election was administered fairly, accurately, and transparently, according to CTV News. The Joint Special Committee on Democratic and Electoral Reform released its report, which, despite the positive finding, includes 48 recommendations for improvements. Key areas for these recommendations include streamlining election administration processes and enhancing public awareness about election integrity. New Democrat Jennifer Blatherwick, who chaired the special committee, emphasized confidence in the integrity of BC's elections and the work of Elections BC, while acknowledging the necessity to actively counter misinformation and disinformation about how elections are conducted. Conservative Deputy Chair Ward Stamer highlighted that the recommendations are crucial for upholding the accessibility of BC's voting model and maintaining overall election integrity. Specific suggestions include directing Elections BC to proactively combat misinformation and disinformation through educational and awareness campaigns, making verification processes more efficient, and addressing the challenges posed by artificial intelligence, such as assessing chatbot accuracy and supporting civil society experimentation with AI to help. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.